Hi everybody and welcome in. This is my Sabenza Chris Reeves CRK or Chris Reeves Knives Sabenza large 21 with Micarta Inlay. This is the Insingo style blade. This is the grease that comes with it. This is fluorinated grease from Chris Reeves Knives. They furnished this along with this Torx or Allen wrench, and that's just some of the stuff that when you get a Chris Reeves knife, that's how it arrives, with all the aforementioned materials in a little simplistic box. Think twice, cut once. That's really deep, man. That's really deep. Anyway, this is my knife, and it's born on date, or a birthday card, you might say. There it talks about the titanium handle with black canvas micarta inlay. There's the date it was born, October 28th, 2015, signed by Chris Reeves, and everything else I've already mentioned, other than the fact that it comes with 59 to a 60 RC rating. That's the hardness of the blade. And it's S35VN steel, which is one of my favorites. According to what I've learned, Chris Reeve is not even part of their company any longer. Anyway, that's irrelevant. They still have a nice knife, and this is how it comes, even with its own lanyard, a little mini lanyard. Now, the reason that they furnish this stuff, there is a reason. In fact, it says so on the back that each knife leaves their workshop carefully wrapped to ensure that it reaches you in prime condition, etc., so on and so forth. It comes with an Allen wrench to enable you to dismantle the knife should you ever wish to do so. The wrench can also be used to ensure, yeah, there you go, you can read along with me. I lost my place, sorry. Anyway, it says it can be used to ensure that the screws are kept tight, and finger tight is good. It's not necessary to super tighten them. Please do not use Loctite or any similar product. Also, when removing or tightening the screw, please make sure the wrench is seated securely to prevent stripping the screw. Before storage, wipe the knife clean with a soft cloth. If it's been used in a corrosive medium such as blood or salt water, etc., fruit juice, then be sure to rinse it in fresh water and coat the blade with a film of lubricant like I normally use. What I use, other people like to use 3-in-1 machine oil or WD-40. There's all kinds of other lubricants on the market that are available to use. It says, should you wish to lubricate the pivot, use a Teflon lubricant, and our fluorinated grease is recommended for this purpose. Now, with that being said, now you know why they furnish this little tube of fluorinated grease and this Allen wrench. I may not be able to loosen it properly because I've never tried this before, and if by chance it's so tight that I have to lay the camera down, then I will, but that seats properly. Wow, no, it's loose enough. Look at that's how they send it. Okay. Wow, I had no idea that they were this loose. I could have already lost one of these screws, and I would have been pissed off. And you'll have to excuse my show I'm watching in the background. It's a comedy show, and I've never seen it before, and I like it. I was going to mute it, though, so you didn't have to hear it, but for some reason, it won't mute. But I'd already started the video before I remembered to mute it anyway, so it's irrelevant. I don't think the volume is quite loud enough to worry about. So I've got 2 of the screws out and the pivot screw, the main pivot screw. Now this is where the backs come through, and you see right here the lanyard, which is it just sort of fits in a hole there and flops back and forth. Really pretty simplistic for a $485 knife, if you ask me. But it is a quality knife. It is a very good quality knife. Okay, I'm sticking this inside the pivot so I can push out the back side. But before I do that, I'm going to close the blade. And then I'll just apply a little pressure. And of course it comes right through the center. So, there it is right there. That's easy enough, huh? There's the back side of the pivot. I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to pause, and then I'll get the flash going so we can see a little bit better. Okay, now we have the flash going, you can see a little better. Removing the Allen wrench, as they call it. I prefer to call it a Torx wrench, but they call it an Allen wrench. And I was wondering if this fluorinated grease was just so tight I can't get it open. And I think it's not. Actually, it's not. It's pretty easy to open. Or it just is screwing around in circles. I think that's what it is. Well, when it comes down time for that, I'll pause again. In the meantime, we will take out the blade. Now, it just popped. That means it sprang open. The only thing holding it is the back sides to the screws. And you can see there, it had a little gunk in it. Nothing really major. Obviously, that's the the bushings that they have. And that side is really pretty filthy. That surprises me, honestly. So you have to take that part off, and there should be another one inside. So we will attempt now to disassemble it by pushing out the other opposite to the screws, the backing or backside. There we go. That was right. Right, easy, wasn't it? And there's the other phosphor bronze washer, or some people call them bushings. And it, like I said, it was really a lot more filthy than I had thought it would be. There's the little lanyard. I told you it was really simplistic how they have that. It's just when you snap it together, you just stick it in the hole, and it fits on both sides. This knife is made with exacting standards, and it should go right together as simple as it came apart. In fact, they're probably one of the few companies out there that even suggest you taking their knife apart. Not many people do that because they don't want you to have a chance at screwing it up. Well, obviously their knives are put together and made, like I said, with exacting standards. The tolerances are set, and the coatings and everything is so specific that when they mill this piece, it's so perfect that it's going to fit exactly the way it was meant to. There's the SKU number, I guess you'd call it, C15. Not sure what that means. Okay, let's remove these now. Give you a chance to see what I was talking about. Wow. Like I said, a lot more filthy and dirtier than I really thought that would be. Oh well. It is what it is. So there's that side, and I don't want to mix these up, by the way. So this one is on the right side of the blade. So I will put it back on the way it came off. The right side, left side. That came off right like that. So I will place it down the same way. That way I won't get it confused, okay? So let me just show you a little bit about how easy that is to clean up. Serious. All that is some of their fluorinated grease and pocket lint. That's about it. I mean, of course, there's a little bit of Tough Glide lubricant that I use. That's the brand I use, oil. And when it came down to the time where it wasn't being able to be manipulated as easily, or it wasn't working as it should have, when it came time that I should have taken it apart, I didn't have the time. So then all you do is you squirt some lubricant inside, and that works. It does. But I will thoroughly clean this out. Then I will thoroughly clean the phosphor bronze washers. And then I'll be back in just a second. You can see me apply the fluorinated grease and then reassemble my Chris Reeves Sabenza-21 with Insingo blade. Okay guys, I am going to finish cleaning up the phosphor bronze washers, and then I'll clean up the handles and the pivot area, reassemble it, and we'll be done. I'm going to be using some liquid wrench instead of WD-40. The reason is liquid wrench is not as caustic. The scent is not as overpowering, number one. Number two, liquid wrench does not light and catch fire. It's not flammable like WD-40 is. In fact, you can take WD-40 right out of the can and spray it with a lighter, and you'll have a flamethrower, but not with liquid wrench. Plus, the third best reason, and this is probably one of the main reasons I prefer liquid wrench over WD-40, is because liquid wrench has Teflon. Yeah, it's a Teflon coated spray. Actually, they call it designed with Surflon. What's Surflon? Oh, that's like Teflon. Stops squeaks. Yes, eases sticking parts. That's what I like about it. Does everything that WD-40 does as well. So there you have it. All right, we'll zoom in just a tad bit here to see if we can get a good shot going. And I think that should be sufficient, or at least I would hope. I'm going to need one more of the cloths that I use. You can pick these up at Walmart for around $5, and you get a whole set of different colored terry cloth type towels. Those have been, I'm serious, those have been priceless as far as working on knives goes. Really, it's been really nice to have stuff like that. Handy, very, very handy. Okay, I've got a couple of rods here, or pipettes, some people call them. Just take out the tube and insert it into your canister. That way it's ready to go. I've already unscrewed the cap to the fluorinated grease. In this frog lube bottle, it's not frog lube. I do have frog lube. Let me see, just to make sure you know. I do use frog lube, but to be perfectly honest, frog lube is, I don't know what the word would be. It's a CLP. That means it cleans, lubricates, and protects. But I'll be honest, it does a heck of a lot better job protecting than lubricating. I say that because I'm speaking about knives. I'm not talking about guns or any other products. It does a great job at everything, I'm sure. But unfortunately, when you use frog lube in the pivot area, it also tends to attract dust. And when that happens, then you get a pivot full of yuck and gunk. So I prefer what my buddy John Grimsmo of the Norseman Knives told me about, and that's what it looks like right there, the color. I'll show you the actual bottle. Let me zoom out here. Sorry about the bad camera work. Excuse me, a little congested today. This is Tough Glide. This is about, I think, around $18 a bottle of this size. But I can refill that bottle there, that small sprayer, and use it over and over and over. It says use on tactical and adventure gear. Micro bonding, oil free. Repels dirt. And that's why I like it. Repels dirt, stops rust. John Grimsmo of the Norseman Knives, he told me to use this. Century makes it. It's a good company, and it does a great job. And it doesn't smell too bad either, so I just pour my my big container into there, and I've gone through several of these giant bottles. I don't cut any slack. If I'm going to lubricate something, I'll slather it on and get it going and then wipe it down. You can always take away, but you can't always add to it later on if you have the knife taken apart and then put back together. Okay, got all these products out of the way that I use. Now let's get down to it, okay? We're going to be using this liquid wrench to clean today. First, we'll do the phosphor bronze washers. I'll just sit it right on top, right like that. And I'll just spray it, just liberally spray it. And I don't want to get the wrong side up. I have these memorized in the fashion that I put them down, and I place them down on the mat. That way I won't screw up. Sorry for bumping the camera with my hat. Okay, you can see that is clean. So that's ready to be lubricated with some fluorinated grease. But in the meantime, I did wipe these down earlier. You saw that. But it just didn't clean them sufficiently. So that's what I'm doing right now. Stuff does a great job. Yep, it's good and clean. And you can see how if you look up close, you can see how the wear patterns have started forming where it rubs on the pivot area. Now with this one, that's really gunked up. But that's no problem. We will clean that right up. This stuff is an amazing product. I think that if you ever have the chance to pick some up, it shouldn't cost you but a few bucks, maybe $5 or $6 or $7 at your local Walmart store. But I would definitely get rid of the WD-40. And WD-40 has its own place. Don't get me wrong, it does. It has its place. There are a ton of uses for WD-40. I just wouldn't use it on my knives. You suit yourself. You do what you got to do. I use it for a myriad of other things, but my knives gets preferential treatment, and I think the liquid wrench may cost a little bit more, but that's okay. It has Teflon, or Surflon as they called it, right? Okay, this one has been adequately cleaned. It looks good. Now to the other scale. Yeah, not too bad. I did wipe it down a little bit, so. Cleans up really easily with this stuff. My wife hates the smell of all this stuff too. She's not here right now, and that's a good time to work on your projects. Yeah, we're going to be sharing this craft room. But I'll have to be more, I guess, I'll have to use caution when setting up my working times on projects like this, because she doesn't like the smell of that stuff. And so I don't have to hear her complain on a regular basis. I didn't say that. I'll just make sure that I air it out really nicely before she gets home. Okay, let's go ahead and clean this one up. Both sides getting a good dousing. Now, in the center of this pivot, by the way, there is, I think I just knocked it out. Honestly, I did. I was going to say, in the center of this pivot, there is a small piece which hit the floor, so I'll have to pick it up. Okay, guys, we are in what will be one day our craft room. This side will be my wife's, and there's her big cabinets, and then there's my cabinet, and that side will be mine. Unfortunately, it's all at disarray right now, and I apologize for that. But it will be the way we want it one day. Take my word. It's just, when you move, it takes a little while to get things organized. I've got this lamp set up here so I can film, or hopefully try to film, what I'm showing you now. That's my new Spartan helmet I just got, and it's got some work that has to be done. But in the meantime, there's the Chris Reeves Sebenza. Okay, this is the piece that I was going to tell you about, and just as I did, it fell out. This goes in the center of the pivot. Really easy to clean, just pops right out to clean it. And that's what, since I've got it out, I'm going to clean the pivot area extra nice. There you go. It's really easy. Just to get the inside there. And you can take a Q-tip, and that's something I should have gotten in the first place. But this is the first time I've cleaned this knife, so I didn't know. I'll grab a Q-tip and be right back. Okay, I'm back. So just take your Q-tip, go around the inside of this, in camera there so you can see what I'm talking about. Just to make sure that it's all clean. Even your detent ball hole, that's the hole the detent ball slides into, as you see the tracks that are already forming from sliding back and forth. That makes the blade pop back into position. But this one is clean, so the spray does an amazing job at doing that. It gets it all clean for you, so you don't have to worry about that. So right now I'm doing the inside of the pivot area, just making sure that all the dirt is out. I know I've pretty much forced it out, but with a spray can, of course, but you never know. See, like there, that one had some filth inside, and you want all that gone. You don't want any remaining. I'm even doing the screw holes as well, just to be safe. And it's a good thing because they were filthy too. Wow. Let me do this one too. Going to have to go ahead and remove the pivot, the screws. But see, they have the caps that go over. They're like ball roller type caps, or I guess you would call them back spacers. That's what they look like anyway. So I'm going to clean this one. Not bad. Pop it right back in its place. Put the cap back on. Do the other end. And this one is a little bit larger. Can you see that? Wow, it was dirty. Big time. I had no idea that this knife was getting as filthy as it was. In fact, I treat it rather gingerly. I really do. I don't, have a lot that I would need to cut because I'm disabled. I don't get out and lay on the ground camping night after night. And then you just replace that back on. There you have it. And there's no reason for putting the fluorinated grease inside the screw hole. That's what I'm going to be using the Tough Glide for. I will coat the inside of the screw holes with Tough Glide. The fluorinated grease goes on these bad boys, the phosphor bronze washers. Okay, I'm going to take a little pause, get me something to drink for my throat, and I'll be back. Welcome back. I'm going to put a little bit of my Tough Glide inside the pivot area, and I'm going to hit the inside, I guess a filler tab, roller tab. I'm not sure what they call that. There you go. It slips perfectly right inside with a little bit of Tough Glide. Now, honestly, I may want to put some of the fluorinated grease inside that instead of that. I just wanted to get it inside there because I was having some trouble getting it in. So I'm going to wipe out the Tough Glide. Just get it out. And replace that with fluorinated grease. I want the inside pivot area to be slathered with fluorinated grease instead of the other stuff I prefer to use sometimes. So what I'm going to do is just put it right here on the outside. There you go. Smooth this all the way around in a circle. And put that inside the pivot area of my blade. It should slip right in, and it does. Okay, perfect. Don't want it to slip back out yet, so I'm going to set it over here, just to the side. Okay, this is going to have to go on to the handle or scale right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put that on the side of the knife blade instead of worrying about the handle. It goes right here, and this is the way that it was picked up and taken off, so I will put it on the same way. Reverse it, this one as well. But before we do that, I really need to put some fluorinated grease. Just a circle, complete circle around right here. That's not too bad. In the meantime, I'm holding the back side of that roller filler in. Put that on the way it came off. Flip it over and repeat the process. There you go. It's not glue, so it doesn't, even though it looks like some Elmer's glue, it's not glue, so it doesn't really matter. It's just a lubricant. Okay, I've got that one ready to go, and it should go on perfectly. In the meantime, I'm going to take a little of the fluorinated grease and apply it liberally around here. Oh, I can see you really probably could end up using quite a bit of this stuff. You know, I'm tempted to put it inside the screw holes. Just might as well. One little drop in each should be sufficient, instead of having to swap back and use my other Tough Glide solution. Okay, I've got this one ready, so what we're going to do now is place the blade on top, and grab my pivot screw. Excuse me, a little bit congested today. On the right side, the screw goes there, so I'm just wanting to get it seated properly. And it slips off back and forth, so you have to be careful. Just be easier, I guess, if I slip the washer over the pivot screw and then slip it into the hole. Yeah, that's working a lot easier. Okay, now time for the other side. Just going to sit it on top. My stomach's growling. I apologize. I apologize. Just making sure it's covering sufficiently. This is the first time I've done this, guys. So it's sort of trial and error, you know? Just take it as it comes. Figure it out. It shouldn't be any more different than any other knife I've taken apart, but I want to make sure that it's done exactly right. You know, I want it to be the same way as it was taken apart. There you go. Excuse me. Now, excuse me again. I'm just going to tighten up the pivot area. Just snug it up. Just hand tight. Nothing major. I just want it to be able to be flush and hold itself in place while I go ahead and put the other screws into place. And you don't want to cross thread anything. So if you have anything that shows you you're too tight or whatever, stop. Stop in the name of love. Excuse me again. Damn. Can't quit that crap. You know, maybe I am allergic to this scent, like my wife says. She is allergic to it. Yep, I think I am too, honey. I think I am too. It would be a lot easier on me if I had a place to sit, because of the fact that I've got 5 discs in my back that are bone on top of bone due to degenerative disc disease. And I've actually had to take a break in the middle of all this, because I don't have a seat where I can sit down and do this. Right now I'm just snugging it up. And then what I'm going to do is, right now I'll have to slip this lanyard in before I tighten it down. So I'll have to back that out just a bit to loosen it so it'll have a little flexibility to it. Unless you don't want the lanyard. But I sort of like the lanyard myself. It's a pretty handy thing. I mean, some people don't like them, and that's okay. But I honestly like a lanyard because it's something to hold on to, you know? Pull it out of your pocket a lot easier. Okay, just lining it up. There you go. Perfection. Now I can snug it back down. Excuse me, damn. I apologize, folks. If I'd known I was going to have this much of a reaction to the chemicals, then I would have probably worn my mask, which I wear when I sharpen knives, or if I do grinding on my knives, like sharpening or profiling. Especially if I use the Ken Onion Work Sharp, because that thing, it spits out a lot of stuff, a lot of steel particles. Okay, here we go with the back screw. It's going to be easier for you guys to see if I use this end of the Allen wrench, I think. Just checking it to make sure that it's not binding. Okay, we don't want this to be too tight, of course. And the way they suggest it is just to be snugged. Some people like to put a quarter turn on it, and that's what I usually do if I'm tightening other knives, frame screws or liner lock type knives. It just is something I do, but I'm going to take their advice and not over tighten it on this one. Awesome. Perfect. Actually, it's surprising me. It's surprising to me. Perfect. And it does great. Just trying to figure it out. How much pressure to put when I kick it. I don't want it to pop out really hard. That stuff works wonders. It feels so much better now. Excellent. Excellent. So there you have it. That's what you do with your fluorinated grease and your little Allen wrench that they send you along with your Chris Reeves Sabenza. Been planning on doing that. I just honestly hadn't had the time or gotten around to it. So now it's done. I'm proud of that. It is done. Woo! Feels lots nicer too. Hey guys, this is knifecenter.com. They currently have my Insingo Sabenza in the large size available. That's what it looks like, and this is what it looks like loading very slowly. We're having issues today with our Wi-Fi. I don't know why, but we are. Sorry about that. Anyway, try to get this enlarged. That's it. And it tells about this being the knife, which I think this is really interesting. This being the folding knife that has become the yardstick against which all others are compared. Because early on, Sebenza earned the worldwide reputation for rock-solid performance and a bank vault type feel, which is standard. It was first developed in 1987, and the profile has experienced only minor changes over the years. After the entirely handmade version came the original profile in 1990, the regular 96, the classic in 2000, and eventually in the year 2008, 21st year of the Sebenza, Chris Reeve introduced the Sabenza-21. And there are different blade styles. There's the drop point, but this one is the one I like best. It took me 3 knives to get it. 3 Sebenzas I went through. This was my 3rd one. Finally, I got it. I got the second knife I got was the Sabenza Insingo, like I wanted, with Micarta Inlay. But unfortunately, it had it was the small size Sebenza, and I've got big hands, so I had to have the large one, and that's what I got. The large Insingo Chris Reeve Sabenza 21 Micarta Inlay and Insingo style blade, which I love. Closed, it's 4.710 in size. Blade length is 3.625, and overall length from tip to tip, or heel to tip would be, or heel to toe would probably be a better way of saying it, 8.335. I guess what, thousandths? Would that be thousandths? Anyway, S35 CPM S35 VN steel. It's an excellent steel, and I love it. I really do. It's a great knife, and as you can see, it's not that difficult to take apart and maintain, and you know, get it going the way you want it to be. And in a short period of time, believe it or not, in a short period of time, I had amassed a lot more filth, dirt, and grime, excuse me, than I had anticipated. I did not expect to see that much, to be perfectly honest. I didn't. Excuse me a second. It just surprised me that there was that much inside, but you don't know unless you take it apart, right? And just try to do what I did. If you do take yours apart, keep all of your screws lined up so you know which one is the pivot screw, which one is your top screw, which one is the back end screw. Then you have the little caps that go inside. They're like fillers, and they fill up the hole a little bit more, and you want to make sure you have those in proper perspective. You want to have the same goes with the phosphor bronze washers. You want to make sure that they are as they're supposed to be. The smaller one, as you probably remember a little while ago, the smaller one fits on the lock bar side. This is what's called the lock bar side because that's the lock bar. And the smaller phosphor bronze washer goes on that side, the larger on the opposite. And you also have to make sure that your screws are on the right side. So if you have any issues, just go to YouTube and watch someone else take apart theirs. That was very beneficial to me. I watched a video firsthand and then did it myself without any problems, and it functions nicely. It really does. Thank you guys once again for watching. I appreciate you so much. We are going to have a giveaway coming up in August, my birthday month. My birthday is August 19th. Yes, August 19th is my birthday, and we're going to be giving something nice away. I may even pick out one of my knives. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, I want you to stay tuned to keep watching because we'll be telling more in the future right here. Take care. Get out, pay it forward when you can. Pat somebody on the back. Give them a boost. Clean their knife for them. How about that? I've sharpened a lot of knives for free. And it's not fun. Don't get me wrong. It's not fun. But you know that you're doing something good. And in turn, hopefully that person will go out and do the same thing and pay it forward. I appreciate it once again. Peace, guys. All right, it's a wrap. Oh, excuse me. Whoop. Oh, hope that wasn't on tape.
Shave of the day, okay? All right.
Welcome in, guys, the shave of the day.